Okay, we are officially starting our group chat. Welcome everybody. So to start the chat off, I'm going to give you guys a cool, a new tip for making offers to help beat the competition. So especially this works great, especially if there's a ton of other people in your area that are doing phone flipping. This will give you an edge on the competition. It's a new rule that I now train my employees with, and it helps pick up a lot. Like I trained this. One of my employees he was on the lower performing end. He was getting only 1 or 2 phones a day at that location. And then when I taught him this rule, he went from that to 3 to 4. So it helped pick up an extra couple deals a day because we got a little bit more aggressive with our offers. So this is called the rule of 5. Okay, so here's how it works. And we should do an appraisal drill with this, I think. Okay. Of 5. Just type this out so we can have this just in case. Okay, and here's how it works. So let's say, for example, you've got someone who wants to sell you a phone, right? And let's say the phone, you appraise it at $300, right? Phone's appraised for $300. Now, what would you guys normally offer on a $300 phone? Type in the chat what your offer would typically be if it's for $300. Let's see, 150, 150, 180, 160, 170, 180, 165, 150, 180. Interesting. So I'm seeing stuff all over the board. Now, if you're making offers like 150 on 300, you're probably not going to get nearly as many deals as someone offering 180. There's like this magic sweet spot, and it's like the difference of $20 can mean getting 3 phones a day or 1 phone a day, right? So let me ask you this. First off, let's just make sure everybody's in agreement with this, okay? At $300, right? Let's just get Google Calculator out here for a second. Okay, at $300, if we take our eBay fees out of that, that's 10%. That's $30, right? So our cost to sell is about 35. Let's say $5 shipping. So 300 minus 35 equals 265. So that's our net on that phone, right? Now, if we offer 150, that's a whopping $115 profit. Pretty good, right? But let's say we only get 1 phone a day at that deal, right? 1 person sells a phone and make 115 bucks. But let's say I go up to, we said 265 was our net, right? Minus, let's say 180. What is that? 85 bucks. Okay. So yeah, I make a little less profit on that because I went to 85. But what if I get 2 extra phones a day because I'm giving just that little extra amount to beat the competition, right? 85 times 3 is 255. Would you rather buy 3 phones a day at $85 profit and make 255 bucks a day, or try to go for the slam dunks and get 1 phone a day and make $115 profit? Which one is better for you guys? I mean, you have to determine this for your business, right? It's your choice at the end. But let's say someone says PayPal. Okay, so PayPal fees are 3%, but we're just trying to make this easy, guys. I don't want to overcomplicate things. So you could throw in another $5 or something for PayPal fees if you want. But you guys all know the fees on it. So what is the better option? 1 phone a day at 115 bucks, or 3 phones a day at 2, with a total profit daily of 255? What would make more sense for you guys? Multiple phones, right? More volume. Okay. And this is what I'll see is whenever I see someone that's struggling, they're not getting a lot of phones, right? I'll see them making a lot of those offers, like, it's a $350 phone, they're offering 200 bucks. Or it's a $300 phone, they're offering 150 a lot. That right there could be, you could be losing 2 or 3 deals a day and not even realize you're losing the deals because they're just not following up, okay? So here's how you determine whether you're losing deals or not, and if you're going up too high. Because you don't want to go up too high, right? Because let's say the phone, we net 265 and you're offering like 220 on that. That's not enough, and I'll tell you why. So here's the rule of 5 is this. You multiply the profit by 5 and it's got to be greater than the price of the phone that you're buying, okay? So the rule of 5 means this. So if we take, let's say we offer 180 on that $300 deal, right? 265 was our net, minus 180 is 85. If we take that and multiply it by 5, we get $425. Is that greater than 300 bucks, which is the original price we appraised the phone at? Yes, it is. So can we go up to that price? Yes, we can. Can we do 190 if it's 300? Let's see. 265 minus 190, 75 bucks times 5 is 375. So if we really had to work to get a deal, could we do 190 on a phone we appraised 300 bucks? Would it be worth it? Give me a 1 if that's worth it. Give me a 2 if that's not worth it. Feldon says no. Okay, so remember the rule of 5. As long as the profit, if 5 times the profit is greater than the phone that we're going to buy, then we're good to go, okay? So, is anybody confused by this? Anybody not understand? So remember the phone we originally appraised at $300. That's what the phone is going to sell for, right? So if we make a $75 profit on it at 190, we multiply that profit by 5, and 375 is greater than 300. So we're in the safe zone. Now, what if we offer 210? So 265 minus 210 leaves us with only a $55 profit times 5. Does this pass the rule of 5 test? Could we offer 210 on a phone that's going to sell for 300? Does this pass the rule of 5? No, right? Because it's 275. So 5 times the profit is only 275, which means we don't want to go that high because there's too much risk there. So the rule of 5, does anybody understand why we have the rule of 5 and what the purpose of that is? Why do we have a rule of 5? Like, why not just do it? Why not just take that $55 profit? Does anybody know? Right, Arthur got it. He said to have enough cushion if anything goes wrong. Exactly, right? So, unfortunately, we know in this business there could be problems. There could be unforeseen issues with the phone. It could be an eBay problem. It could be a problem with the post office. So here's my philosophy. If I have to eat that phone completely, I can make it back in 5 deals. That's it, right? So for example, this doesn't happen often, but if it does, let's say the post office completely loses my phone or something like that, right? And I'm out 300 bucks. If I stick to the rule of 5, I only have to flip 5 more phones, and at least I recovered from that. That's not devastating, right? Because we're buying 5, 7 phones a day. But if I have to flip like 10 phones to make my profit back, that's going to be really painful. That's going to hurt, right? Or even if it's, maybe just even if I lose half of the profit on the phone, that's still going to be, if I stick to the rule of 5, it's only 2 deals and I make my profit back, right? I don't really lose. But if I go higher than that, it's going to take a lot more deals to replace the money I lost. Does that make sense to everybody? This is to protect you guys in case something goes wrong. That's why you got to stick to the rule of 5, all right? So it's enough profit that you're going to protect yourself and you're going to make good money and you're going to get a lot of deals with the rule of 5. Because if you go up, a lot of people don't realize this, and most other competitors are too scared to be that aggressive with pricing to get the deals, but not you guys. You guys know now that you can go up to those margins, make the money, and get the customer. Now, here's the thing. Once you acquire a customer, this is why we keep to the rule of 5, okay? Once you have a customer, how much more likely is that customer to sell you a phone in the future versus some random guy in Craigslist? Does anybody know the actual amount? How much more likely are you going to get a repeat customer from that versus some guy on Craigslist trying to message you? 15 times more. 15 times more likely to sell you something again versus a cold lead, right? So why do we want to fight? Why do we use the rule of 5 to acquire customers? Because we want the back end business, okay? We want those repeat customers, or we're constantly going on what we call like the hamster wheel or the grinding wheel to find these slam dunks And we're always going to be posting ads like crazy. We're going to do a lot of work just to get, you know, a couple deals here and there, where if we get aggressive, we stick to the rule of 5 and we focus on building a business with repeat customers and we upsell. This is how you can very easily get to 10, 15, 20,000 a month in a very short amount of time and crush the competition, close those deals, and get a 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 closing average if you get aggressive and stick to that rule of 5, okay? Does this make sense? Who is finding this helpful? And is anybody confused or have a question on it? So we can do some tests on this to see. But I'm going to be honest with you. I checked out 3 text negotiations this week. Every single one of them failed the rule of 5. The 4th one I checked out was today of my own employee. Okay, and he failed the rule of 5. So really check and make sure. Like, let's say I'm going to give an example. Now he knows. He didn't know this before. I didn't teach him the rule of 5. So he's a little newer. I couldn't hold him against it. But let me find the deal and I'll show you exactly what I was talking about. So I can show you the mistake and how we could have gotten more, right? It was like a few deals down. Let me just check it really quick. Earlier in the day. Here we go. Okay. So this person right here had an iPhone XR for T-Mobile. Okay. So let's do an appraisal drill while we're doing this. This is actually a really good one. So tell me what you guys would appraise an iPhone XR for T-Mobile, right? And what you would offer for it. Okay. Don't look at the offer there. I'm going to scroll up for a second. iPhone XR for T-Mobile. Guys, tell me how much you would sell for on eBay and then how much you make an offer. I'll wait about 1 minute, see if you guys can take your time. So type it in the chat. So type in the chat how much you would pay. And do this even if you're new. If you're brand new and you're not confident yet, this is how you get some experience, right? Is by participating and failing. So don't be afraid. If you're wrong, that's okay. That's good to know. That way it'll help you close more deals. So go on eBay right now, do your appraisal, and then type in the chat, what do you think it's going to sell for? It's an iPhone XR for T-Mobile. Tell me what do you think it's going to sell for, and then type your offer in the chat. So we only got one person who typed an offer so far. And I want to see, let's compare your offer to what my employee offered, and let's see what we can, what we come up with. Okay, I only got a couple responses so far, guys. We got 39 people in the chat, so let's get a few more if we can. So type how much it's going to sell for, and then type your offer too. So, you know, whatever you think it's going to sell for, type that, and then type me what you would offer that customer. Okay, we're starting to get some more responses now. So I see sell for $350. I don't see an offer, but sell for $350. I see sell for $310, buy for $180, buy for $190, sell for $310, sell for $300, offer $200, sell for $500, offer $350. Ooh, good thing we're doing this appraisal drill. This is good. And I'm glad for you guys that are brand new, especially great job participating. That's excellent. This is how you get better. So keep it, even if you're way off, I'd much rather you respond to be way off than not respond. So good job. Eric says sell for $320, buy for $180. Cole says sell for $350, offer $220. Michelle, $330, offer $180. Tip $450, buy for $375. Okay, so we got about 12 responses. So who else hasn't responded yet? So it says sell for $330, buy for $200. Let me give about 15 more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and do the actual appraisal, and then I'll show you what we offered and what we would have gone up to. Sell for $300, buy for $180. Cool. Okay, great job participating, guys. Let's go ahead and actually do the appraisal together, and let's see what we come up with. So iPhone XR for T-Mobile. So what you want to type in the search bar is this, iPhone XR for T-Mobile. Okay. Typically, I'd like to do bad ESN, but I'm just going to look for that. So here's one, iPhone XR, bad IMEI. Now, some of you guys said 500 or 450. if you said that, be careful, because at first look, it might seem like that, but why am I not going to price this at 450? Why do I not want to use these listings? Does anybody know? And this, I'm guessing if you did say 450 or 500, that's probably what happened. So let me know if that is the mistake. But why do I not want to use these particular listings here? See, because they're sealed, right? They're brand new sealed phones, and we never go by the sealed price. We want to go by the used price, right? Because it's a used phone. Where was the? Wait, there's a message right here, right? So it's a used iPhone XR. Okay, so we don't want to go by the sealed price. So be really careful of that. So what we're looking for is a phone like this here. See this? Now that says 250. Here's the thing I don't like about this, that there's no screen on. It's not turning on or anything. So that's not good. This one we don't want to use either. See, this says cracked, and that's for 280. It's not cracked. Here's one that says dirty ESN. So that is selling for 350. Obviously, whoever sold this is scared to put bad ESN in their listing, so they put dirty ESN instead. This, we can actually use this because that's looks like good condition. It sold for 350. So if you said 350, you're right on the money. Let me see. Let's find another one. Here's another one. It's a bad ESN. It sold for 379, and it's recent too. This was August 12th, so it was only yesterday. 379. We're not going to use this as a stock photo. We're not going to use this either. This is weird. This is like really off, but like it's 569, but it's like completely out of whack. It doesn't line up with anything. I don't know why that is like, oh, it says clean ESN. That's why it says clean ESN. That's why it's so high. So ignore that one. And we always buy T-Mobile as bad ESN. And we have one here that sold for 309 auction style plus $7 shipping, so 320. So we got about 320, 350, 370. So would it be safe to say at least 340, 350 we're going to get for this? Would you guys agree with that? Give me a 1 if you agree after seeing this, that the phone will probably definitely sell for at least 330, 340. More than likely. Good chance, right? So let's make our official appraisal 340. Let's do that, right? Chris says no, sold one yesterday. What did you sell it yesterday for, Chris? 319. Okay. Well, that's still pretty close, right? We're only $10 off. So, and the market fluctuates a little bit. So maybe if you waited a little bit, you might have gotten 10 or 20 bucks, who knows? But I think 330, I say 330 definitely. We're pretty safe on that, right? And even if you appraise at 330, it sells for 320, it's not that bad. Okay? So, let's see what he offers. So, he offered 200. Now, let's look at 200. Right? And she said, oh, I'll resell it then for much more nice. I'll sell it myself. He says, I buy phones for a living. You can make $200 and make a decent profit. I totally understand your decision. If anything changes, still on the table, right? He didn't follow up with the closing question. So what would have been good here is to say, okay, how much were you looking to get? So first of all, that was the big mistake right here on this one, right? You always want to follow up with the closing question in a negotiation. So this is where the mistake was made here, was no closing question. So what would have been a better response is, okay, how much were you looking to get for it? That way I can see where the buyer stands. Second mistake here was that there was no other increase in the price. It was just $200 and that was it, okay? So let's look at our net now on 330. Let's say even 330, I think it could sell for more, but let's look at 330 times 10% is 33 bucks. We'll add $5 for PayPal fees and shipping, whatever it is. So 330 minus 35 bucks is 295. So our net on that phone would have been 295. That's what we actually take in our pockets. So now, if we offer 200, that's a $95 profit. Oops. 295 times 5. That's like way over, right? 475 is way higher than the phone. So that means we still got some room here. So could we have done 230? What's 295? 295 minus 230, 65, and let's multiply it by 5 equals 325. That's just about right. So it's $5 under what we think the phone would sell. So our max price we would offer on that would be 230. Okay. Now that might not seem like a big difference, but 30 bucks to that seller can be the difference between them going with you or the competition, right? So that's why you want to use that. Eric says, I noticed bad ESN has not been selling for much lately. So there was a little dip in the market where bad ESN phones were down a little bit. And that's why you want to use this rule of 5 so you can beat the competition, because the competition hasn't caught up with that, but you guys have now. So you have an edge to beat everybody else. That's why I'm teaching you this stuff, right? So now you guys know this. So who Who feels pretty clear on how that works? Give me a 1 if you feel pretty clear. Give me a 2 if you have a question. I'll be happy to answer it for you. Jesus says, should we net a good amount of profit on buying higher end phones? Well, as long as it passes the rule of 5, that passes the good profit test, right? So let's do the rule of 5 really quick on a real expensive phone. Let's say it's like a $700 phone, like an XS Max 256 gigabytes or something, right? So let's figure out the net. That's 70 bucks. And then we'll add, we'll probably add 10 for fees and shipping on that. So 700 minus 85 cost to sell is 615. So let's say we offer 500 bucks on that and we make $115 profit. Multiply $115 profit times 5 and we got 575. So that doesn't pass the rule of 5 on that one, right? So you might want to offer maybe 450. Let's see, 615 minus 450 equals 165 times 5, 825. That's a little high. So you could maybe offer, up to like 480 on that and feel pretty comfortable. Maybe 480, 470, and you'll be good on a $700 phone. Okay, so this is the way you can be really accurate and precise with your offers to be confident that you're being competitive, right? Because you ever have someone say, oh, someone else said they offer me more. If your deal passes the rule of 5 and you know you're being competitive, then you know they're lying. Nobody else is going to offer them more if you're following this, or they're going to lose money. They're not going to be able to sustain a business. So don't worry, they won't be competing much longer. So you don't really have to worry about that. Most people, and only the best phone flippers, know this type of these type of margins. It's just a sweet spot. It's like too much and you put yourself at risk, too little and you don't get the deal. So it's just that sweet spot that I figured out over the last 7 years. That's the right spot to get the maximum amount of deals at the maximum amount of profit margins per deal as well. Okay. Let me open it up for questions here and see if you guys have any questions now after that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, I do, Dave.
Sure.
It's Tim. A lady messaged me on OfferUp. She has a couple items for sale, and she has an iPhone 6S Plus, but it's jailbroken. I don't know anything about jailbroken phones. What is it? And should I?
Okay, so jailbreaking a phone is this. It means they put like custom software. Typically, iPhones are jailbroken. That's what they usually refer to an iPhone. And what they do is they install custom software on there that allows them to download like apps for free. So they can download all the paid apps for free or something like that. It's kind of like it's like a hack, almost like they used to make the black boxes for cable type of thing or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Or like those Amazon Fire Sticks. So to remove the jailbreak on a phone, you have to do what's called an iTunes restore. Okay, it's called the DFU restore. And if you just go on YouTube and you type how to do factory restore on phone or DFU restore, it'll walk you through exactly what to do. It's not that hard, but that's how you would remove a jailbreak. You have to do a manual restore through iTunes. So if you just try to factory restore a jailbroken phone, it won't actually restore.
Okay.
You have to actually put it in DFU mode, which means you hit this button and it shows like the iTunes logo, and you hook it up to iTunes and you restore it that way.
Yeah, I know how to do that. Do you have to restore it, or you can sell a jailbroken phone on eBay? I
don't sell them jailbroken, no, because it's like a gray area, like a legal gray area, the jailbroken. I always like to erase them. And also, if you don't erase that, then it can still have someone's Apple ID in it. It could be ID locked and you don't know.
Okay.
It could be an iCloud locked phone.
All
so right. I always restore jailbroken phones 100%.
Yeah. I looked up the prices on that, and they're fluctuating everywhere from like 100 to 200 basically.
Just buy jailbroken phones like they're a normal phone, and just reset them before you buy them. Like don't never pay more because they're jailbroken, because sometimes the people will try to sell you on that. Be like, hey, it's jailbroken. You just make your price based on normal, because actually a jailbroken phone actually is more like a detriment than it is a benefit, because now you have to do that extra work. So now because it's jailbroken, you got to restore it. So you can actually explain to them and say, hey, unfortunately, because it's jailbroken, I'm going to have to go through this work in order to reset the phone to normal, or the buyer isn't going to be acceptable with it. I can't sell a jailbroken phone like this. So because of that, I can offer this. You can use it to justify a price to them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that clear it up?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Feldons says he had a guy message him today with an Apple TV, second generation jailbroken. Yeah. So they're jailbreaking those so they can like download all the movies and stuff for free. Exactly. Yeah. What I used to do is I used to bring my laptop in the car and I would restore the stuff right there. Cause I always I don't like to gamble, right? So I always want to do whatever I can before I give the cash. Cause once you give the cash, what happens? It's all over, right? You give the cash. You ever try calling them back? Hey, there's a problem with this thing. Wrong number. They don't return your call. Like, you're not going to get it fixed once you give the cash. So for me, I always had like a kit. I had an iPhone charger, an Android charger for my car, so I could test the charge ports on the phone. I always brought my laptop and I would connect it. Now I know some of you guys don't have this setup, but if you can, it's helpful. And you could do a restore. And an iTunes restore, it doesn't take that long. And you could sit and talk to them, make a friend with the customer. It might take 5-10 minutes before you buy, and then just try to upsell them or something like that while you're doing it. And if it's going to take a long time, just at least get the restore process started and do all that before you give them the cash, and do a check on SICW to make sure it's not iCloud locked. Make sure that the iCloud is turned off on that before you do that. Okay. It's better to wait completely till it's restored, to be honest. So that's the absolute safest way to buy, if you can.
Okay.
And that comes, guys, with experience. The more experience you get, the faster you'll be able to do these things, the more deals you do. Anybody else have a question?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Francisco.
So MDM locks, I'm guessing those are pretty much stolen too then, is my guess. Or is that something different?
The MDM lock, they're not really stolen. It depends. So what he's talking about is if you get a phone that says this phone is leased by Sprint or something like that, you can sell those as a bad ESN. You're just going to have to give it a lower price. I don't really like buying those. We don't really get many of those at all. I don't know. Do you guys get a lot of those? We barely ever see those. We might have seen like 1 or 2 of them because we get a lot of clean business.
I bought like 3 of them already.
Okay. And are you selling them as is like that?
Yeah, I saw them at MDM lock, but I've seen a few where they say it's like they're like connected to like a company like St. Joseph's or some type of school.
If it's a
or
company,
like,
like if it says this belongs to Rent-A-Center or if this belongs to a school, don't buy those. Those are stolen. Yeah,
okay.
Don't buy those. We stay away from those.
But you're saying leased ones are usually okay if it's like leased to like Sprint or something like that?
Yeah, if it's like a Sprint phone, because they really own the phone, so it's okay. It's not like taken from someone. But if it's like belongs to a company or something, and they're selling like their company phone that belongs to the company, yeah, you don't buy that. Yeah.
Mm. And then I remember you had said before that when they're passcode locked, but they don't have an iCloud locked on it, you just offer like it as no power. That's how you appraise those.
If they're iCloud locked.
No, just passcode locked.
Oh, password locked. Well, how come you're buying with the password? Do you know how to remove the passwords?
Oh yeah,
I don't buy password locked phones. Like if they come in with the password, we won't buy them. So I don't buy those at all. If they don't know the password, like I'll ask them. I'll say, hey, can you just put your password in? If they're like, oh, I don't know my password, well then I say, well, we need to have you remove the password before we purchase it. If that's okay. So that's.
You're saying it's just better just. Sorry, can you say that?
Yeah, so I don't really buy password locked phones usually. Have you been buying a lot of those?
No, not usually. I bought like maybe 1 or 2, but
yeah, that's not a typical thing. We don't get that a lot, but I try to avoid it. And sometimes they'll come back and they'll have the password fixed and it'll be all set, and sometimes not. But there's plenty of good business out there. You don't have to buy those.
No, because I know there's every now and then people do forget them, but it's usually not. It's usually the exception, not the norm for that.
I mean, if that's the case, check to see if it's iCloud locked. You can just remove the password with an iTunes restore.
No, yeah, I know that. I remember you would offer less whenever
yeah,
they
you can
do
use that as a negotiation tool too. Yeah. Yeah. But if that person comes back to you with like 5 password locked phones after that and they don't know the password still, then I wouldn't buy from that person anymore because you don't want to be known as that guy. But yeah, if it's like a one-off thing, yeah, that's what you can do.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Oh, so I said I would teach you guys Facebook stories. I forgot about that. Do you guys want to go over that really quick? How to post in a Facebook story? So let me do that real fast for anybody. So this was for, I think, who was asking about that? Was Colton? Is Colton still here? Okay, cool. So here's how to post in a Facebook story. Let me just in the video so you guys can see. Okay, so so you should have a bunch of groups you join, right? So I'll pick a group really quick. One of your resale groups. So the good thing about this is that you can do this every single day. Every 24 hours you can post in a group. Let's see if we can find one. Now some groups don't have the story option, but most do. So okay, so here's a group here. I haven't shown this one yet. South County RI Resale, right? So you'll see over here on your mobile, you can only do this on mobile. You can't do it on a computer. So Nick says, can you share my screen? I can't because I'm on my desktop and you can't do this from desktop. It has to be done on your mobile phone. So I'm going to just try to show you. Can you see that okay? You guys see this? And see where it says group story right here. So you can follow along on your phones if you can. So there's a little plus button and it says create story. Okay, that's right in the group. You're going to click on that. Okay. And then you're going to add your pick. So let's say you put a pick with phones and cash there. I don't have like, here we go. You can put your picture with phones and you could say we buy phones cash. Like you add a text to it. Okay. Cash for phones. And I'll just put the number. If I put we pay cash for phone. That sounds like I don't speak English. Come on. All right. So let's just say I'm doing this kind of sloppy and fast just to show you guys, but so you create a text like that. We pay cash for phones. Now you want to brighten it up, have nice colors, capitalize each one. I just kind of rushed through this just to show you how to do it, right? And then you would hit share to group story. So I just hit this right here. Boom, share to group story. Boom, now it's shared. Now watch this. So anybody in the group, there's a little icon's going to pop up. And see, there's my group story in the group. Okay, you could put GIFs in here, animations. There's all kinds of different things you can do with this, right? You get really fancy. Let me see if I can find one that one of my employees did earlier. I can't find a thing. I'll have to take a minute to go through that. But so does that make sense? So Colton, do you understand how to do that now, or do you have a question on how to post, or Nick? Was that pretty clear? So you just do that, like pick 10 groups that you want to do this, like pick your 10 best groups for the stories and do that every day at a certain time. And once your stories expire, because they expire after 24 hours, then you do it again. So each day you just post that in 10 and those get way more views than regular group posts. That will help get you a little bit more leads or interaction. It's very important, put your phone number in big letters in those. You want bright colors and a phone number because you want them to call you. That's what's been the most effective for stories. They don't usually message from stories. They usually call. So make sure big bright colors, big yellow box, and your phone number. Craig says, is that what a story is meant for? Ads? Yeah. So you post ads to get your phones. Well, the group story is just kind of like a group story. It's just like, hey, this is what's going on in our group. Facebook just kind of has that option. It's like everybody basically uses it for advertisement. It's just what you always see in the group stories mostly. But the thing about the story is that it gets promoted harder because Facebook and all the social media platforms are trying to go more towards a story environment. So like, it's like a Snapchat-ish kind of thing. So you'll get more engagement and views on that than you will like a typical post because the algorithm pushes more views to that. That's why those stories work well. So if you're just posting in groups, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity by not using stories with it. Colin says, how do you get people to be motivated to sell their phone when they're only getting 5 to 10 for their phone, but they don't have any electronics to sell? So it sounds like you are trying the right strategy, but it's a matter of focus, right? So we might not be able to do anything to get those people to sell us a phone. What we want to do is try to put our attention on the big profit phones, right? So rather than focusing, like if you've done everything you can with the $5 or $10 phones and those cheap and you haven't got them, really put the effort into closing the people that have the XRs, the iPhone 8s, the iPhone 7s, the Galaxy S9s, the Galaxy S10s. And try to get and just get more leads, right? So instead of trying to figure out how to get the lower end phones, try to get more leads and just put a little bit more attention closing the higher end phones is what I would recommend for that. And that's the best strategy. You get a lot of those old phones. It's good if you've got nothing going on, but you really want to try to shoot for the bigger profits if you can, especially if you've got a little bit of cash saved up in this business. You'll do much better. So we do kind of like a cherry pick strategy. What we do is just blast tons of ads on all platforms, right? Facebook ads, Facebook groups. We stopped doing Let Go in the last month because we were trying a new white hat strategy, but we might be going back to just posting on Let Go because we were testing some things. But we saturated all the platforms with ads as much as possible. And when you're getting 30 to 50 leads a day, then you give all the effort to the leads that have the phones that are worth over $100, because you're much more likely to close those and you're going to make more profit. And when you have deal flow, when you have a lot of deal flow, you've got a lot more opportunities. But if you're not posting a lot of ads and you're trying to fight for those $5 or $10 phones and you don't have a lot of opportunities, that's where you get yourself in trouble. You're not going to get as many deals, right? So if you focus first on the deal flow by placing ads, that creates the more opportunities for you and more practice. You get better as a phone flipper because when you get lots of deals, you also are able to practice your negotiations a lot more regularly, and you have a lot more options, and you're confident. You're more confident when you've got 30 leads a day coming in because you're like, well, okay, if this person says no, I don't care because I've got other opportunities. So it gets you momentum. Okay, was there anything else I said I was going to go over today?
Ox is different.
Do you guys, okay, so I'll just do some open questions again for a second till we think of something else. But does anybody have another question or anything that you want to go over?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so lately I've been getting a lot of people that say like, oh, I bought a storage unit and I found an iPad and I want to sell it, or I work at a bar and I have these 4 phones and I reported them, but no one claimed them, so I like to sell them. And so I mean, in that instance, it kind of sounds like they tried to report it lost, but no one claimed it. So
if that's the deal, you're usually safe to buy those.
Okay.
As long as you just get of course you make sure you get an ID. You always protect yourself because you never know if their story is true or not. But if they told you that and you're buying it in good faith, you've done what's called your due diligence, and you're probably safe in that situation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you'd be okay if you have to. Let's do another appraisal drill, because I saw in that appraisal drill, there was I think we could tighten up those appraisals. So what do you guys think? Can we do one more appraisal drill? You want to do a hard item? Let's do what's something you guys have right now someone's trying to sell you? Let's do an appraisal on it. Let's do the appraisal, and then whoever iPhone is how many paid Craigslist ads. I'll answer that. Let's do an appraisal drill, and then I can go over the paid Craigslist ads. Actually, Feldon had some good stuff to share about Facebook ads. Feldon, are you still on here? Craigslist ads, not Facebook. I'm sorry, Craigslist ads. You want to share a couple tips on Craigslist ads?
Sure. So for Craigslist ads, mainly what I've been doing lately is just doing paid ads. And I've been also doing a lot of keywords in my ads as well. If you guys want, I can paste the link to one of my ads.
Do you guys want Feldon to share his ads and show you what's been working? He said he's been getting about how many calls a day from the paid ads on Craigslist?
From Craigslist, I usually get anywhere from 3 to 5 a day consistently. And these are really good quality leads. Like I had one guy sell me an Xbox One X. He sold me a drone and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I had another guy come who works for a software company. So he had several laptops. I just post one ad every 2 days, and I've made a ridiculous amount of profit from these ads that I've been posting on there. I'm talking anywhere from 700 to 1,000 a week just from Craigslist ads. So it's been working pretty good for me. And the reason I know is because I've used an app to track where the calls are coming from and everything, just to make sure that I'm not wasting my time. And if you guys look at the ad, it's
This is a
basically
beautiful Craigslist ad. Look how nice that looks.
keywords.
And look at those keywords, cash for iPad. That's a lot of keywords you stuffed in this thing and got it to stick. And that's in what category was this in, Feldon?
I post all my ads in wanted by dealer.
Wanted by dealer? Okay. And that costs $3 for you guys. If you didn't know that, wanted by dealer is $3. Wow.
So if you guys want, you could just copy the ad and just remove my number.
Does anybody have any questions for Feldon about this? How did you make that ad? Where did you get that made, Feldon?
I designed it on PicMonkey. I have a paid membership with them for like $8 a month.
Okay.
I use that to design all my ads. As far as the pictures, I did a Google search, and I just took some pictures off Google and I edited them and threw them on the image.
That's a nice ad.
Thank
I
you.
like to pick on that. Bright, see, a couple things, guys, like bright yellow colors, bright big yellow letters works really well in your ads. And that's for pretty much everything, for the group stories, for Facebook ads, for Craigslist. So that's a great thing that he has. And the multicolors in the background is awesome. It's really nice. Let me see if anybody has any questions. David says, dang, Feldon, I thought my paid Craigslist ads were a monument to keyword stuffing. Nice. Yeah. So the purpose of this, right? If you know, this is hard. This is really advanced Craigslist stuff. It's difficult to land this many keywords. But if you can, anytime someone searches for like a new iPad they want to buy or something, his ad will show up. And then, you know, they're looking for things to buy. And then consequentially, they see his ad, and it's kind of like an impulse purchase. They see it and they're like, oh, okay, I've got something to sell. I'll sell this. It's not easy to get these to stick though. But now that's just mostly the paid ads. You're not getting free ads to stick like this, right?
Free ads. I was getting free ads like that to stick, but that strategy is a lot more complicated. It takes a lot of work. It involves getting past OCR scanners and a whole bunch of other stuff.
And how often are you posting these paid ads?
I post them once every 48 hours because that's the Craigslist policy.
So just once every other day.
Yeah.
Once every other day, and you're getting about 3 to 5 calls a day from that. They're good quality deals.
Yeah, some days I get more calls than others, but the average is 3 to 5.
Awesome. So you don't need a whole bunch of ads then in order to get decent calls. Just a good quality paid ads, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've noticed that if I saw someone asked if I'm using the different picture. It's better if every time you post, you change up the picture and you change up the copy. When I first posted this picture, it was working really, really good. This was 4 days ago, I think I started posting it. And when I used it again, I didn't get the best results. I'm noticing when I use different pictures and I change up the ad copy a little bit, I get better results.
And then we talked about that today, the ad fatigue, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Frankie. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Feldon. Anybody else have a question on that? How did you get the keywords like this? Did you manually type that like that?
So,
or do you have a way to get that?
Over time, yes, I built up the keywords.
Oh my God, you had to manually type all that? Wow. Look at these Jeep GoPro Hero 5 PS Vita. And did you just think of this stuff? These keywords?
It was a combination of me looking at competitors' ads and just like copying and pasting and building things up.
Okay.
That's really how I got to this point.
Wow. Sweet.
You're saying you're only doing one every 2 days, like just one total? Or
That's correct. Just one ad. Just one ad. I used to do multiple. I'm noticing, one, it's a violation of Craigslist policy, and two, I mean, you'll get an extra couple calls, but why risk your account? I just like to follow the policy, and I just post one ad every other day, and it works fine for me.
Yeah, the
You're
paid
saying
ads are great. We still do the paid ads a lot, and they work very well. And your ads stick for 30 days, which is nice, like Feldon was saying. Michelle says he buys Roomba. Yeah, you laugh at Roombas, but there's good money in Roombas, and they're short, they're small, easy to ship, and we've made good money buying Roombas before. Yeah, I actually used to flip vacuums for a little bit before I even started flipping phones. I flipped vacuums before I flipped phones, believe it or not. He says with 2 paid ads a day, and all I change is the text or the title and the first line of the ad body. Ah, thanks, David. David, how many Craigslist ads do you have, and how many calls are you getting from those? Are you doing well with Craigslist? Is it getting you a lot of calls? Yes? Or that was for body, the Y. Yes. Do you want to share some tips with everybody on what's working for you with Craigslist? If not, we can go into the appraisal for the MacBook Pro. Oh, he says I can't really add too much what Feldon said. Okay, so he pretty much covered most of it. All right, cool. Okay, you guys said you wanted to do a MacBook Pro 15-inch, right? Who wanted to appraise that? Do you have the actual model number of the one that you want to appraise? Let me see if I can find one to pick, or I'll wait for you guys to type one in. So if you guys want, pick a MacBook, and I'll go and we'll do an appraisal drill on it. If not, I'll try to find one really quick, and then I'll give it to you. MacBook Pro, let's see. Let's do. All right, a MacBook Pro 2014. Oh, wait, you said 2015, right? So, 2015. See, I'm going to make this tricky if I can. All right, a MacBook Pro 2015, 13-inch screen, 256 gigabyte hard drive. Let's see if you guys can do an appraisal on that. So MacBook Pro 2015, 13-inch screen. Tell me, and a 256 gig hard drive. Tell me what you think it's going to sell for on eBay and what your offer would be on that. I haven't even done the appraisal yet. I just picked one. Okay, and then once you get your appraisal, type it in the chat what you would sell for and how much you would offer. See how many people get it. Now, I want you, even if you think you're good at appraisals, or even if you're new and you don't think you're good at appraisals, highly recommend participating in the appraisal drills because, you know, I see a lot of variation sometimes. So it's always good just to double check, make sure. Let's see. Okay, we got first response in. Let's see if we can get 20 in the next minute. Because remember, you want to try to get your appraisals in 30 seconds or less. So it's a 2015 MacBook, 256 gigabytes, 13-inch. That's all right, Frankie. It's okay. As long as you have it. Oh, you can't do it in your head, you said, either because your computer's slow. Well, it's okay. Maybe try after and see. I'm not going to give you the RAM or the gigahertz. won't give you that information. I want to hear an answer based on just what I gave you. I think it's tricky. So what do you think you would sell it for, and how much would you offer? All right, we got 2 responses so far. All right, here we go. We got some more coming in here. Come on, let's get at least 10, guys. We got 4. Okay, so if you haven't made an offer by now, give me a reason why. Tell me in the chat what you're struggling with. Are you having a hard time finding the price? Is there any like complications with the appraisal that you're not sure about? So you should really be having your appraisals done in about 30 seconds, right? So if you can't, I'd like to know what you're struggling with. That way I can help you with it. So, oh, you guys are he's creating a Craigslist ad. All right. Okay, so we got appraisals all over the place on this. Let's actually go through and see. All right, and no worries. If you can't do it, I understand if you guys are driving. I just wanted to see if you were struggling or not. Okay, so this is what my search was. MacBook Pro 2015, 256.13. Now, see, I didn't take MacBook Pro 15 because I don't want 15 inches to show up, so I made sure to put 2015. So make sure you watch that when you guys are searching for it. I put 256 gigabyte. I didn't put hard drive or anything, just 256 GB, and then 13 for the screen size because that's what's probably going to come up, right? So the first one I got here is 719. Now this one's got the box and all that stuff. I'm going to look more in depth and see, is this the trend? Are most of them selling around that or not? And I see this one here is at $550 and $10, even has the box. So that tells me, okay, let me do a little more deeper searching. I see one here for $455 with 11 bids. Now this is auction. I don't think I'm going to use this one because there's some kind of weird message on it. It says, oh, issues with the keyboard. So be careful if you use this one to appraise that you might not have looked at the listing and saw that this one has issues. So that's not going to be an accurate appraisal. Okay. So if you said sell for $450, you might have appraised wrong because of that, not diving deeper into the listing to see. So you always are looking for the average, right? And if something's not around the average, be very weary and try to dive deeper to find out why is it not like the average. For example, this one's $559, which is pretty similar to this $550, and maybe $30 shipping, $10 shipping, so maybe $560. This one's way out of whack. I'm not even going to look at that for $1,000. I'm not even going to bother. That's just too high. This one has no picture. It's sold for $500. I'm not going to look at that because there's no picture. This one says $510. What's the trending price here, guys? What are you seeing the trending price around when I look at this? Like, what do you feel comfortable appraising this on based on what I showed you now? 700? Or more like 540 or something, 550, 560. What do you guys feel more comfortable at? I would say more comfortable with about 550-ish. Now, it might have some different specs because I didn't give you all the specs, but for the most part, the averages are selling for 550. So that's where we want to go with our appraisal. So if you said appraise at about 550, then you are correct. Okay. Now, what would your offer be on a Mac, on that particular item for 550 for a MacBook? What would you offer on that? I'd like to hear what your guys' offer would be. So if it sells for 550 and it's a MacBook, what would you offer? $360, $320, $350, $375. Okay, so the rule of 5 doesn't apply to MacBooks. Okay, so this is only for phones, the rule of 5. So it's a different rule for MacBooks. So let me teach you this now. So with MacBooks, we got to look at the numbers with this, right? MacBooks, they're about $20 to ship, right? So let's say 550, and we've got our typical 10% fee, or whatever with PayPal, $55, and let's add on another $20 for shipping. 75. But what do we have? What's a little different with MacBooks than phones? What's something that we're going to encounter more of than with phones? Do you guys know? What are we going to encounter more of with a MacBook than we are with a phone? The shipping is more. Yep, well, because it's bigger. So we got to put it in a flat rate box. Going to be 15, 20 bucks. More risk, more stuff to go wrong on a MacBook, right? So what does that mean? That means we have to have bigger profit margins to pad ourselves for the risk. So rule of 5 doesn't apply with MacBooks because we might need more profit. So there wouldn't be exactly a rule on this. I haven't come up with a rule, but we can actually come up with one right now. What I would feel comfortable with, let's see, 550. I would say we're going to net 550 minus 75 is 475. We're going to net 475 on that. At 350, that's $125 profit margin. I guess I feel comfortable with that spending. Let me see the rule of 5 on that. 625. So yeah, I would be okay with that. If it will sell for 550, I would do 350. That would probably be my absolute max though. So let's figure out how much is that. What's 500? Well, 550, right? 550 divided by 125. I don't think I would take less than that because of the risk. So about rule of 4, the rule of 4. I think the rule of 4 is actually better because I really feel a lot more comfortable at 330. So if we netted 475 minus 330, that would be 145 times 4 is 580. It's a little higher, but I feel more comfortable with that. So I'd say on MacBooks, I would do a rule of 4. Maybe like a 4.2, but I don't want to get all crazy. Keep it real simple. Like a rule of 4 is usually pretty good. So like 330 would probably be what I would go on that. And then like if I felt really comfortable, it was like mint condition, I would go up to maybe like 350. Like if I felt really solid about it and I didn't think there would ever be a problem and like it's, it's like not a scratch on the thing, then okay, I'll go to 350. Does that make sense? That way you guys can be aggressive with the laptops. But don't go to like 400 on a $550 laptop because the swings in value are different too. Like you might appraise it at 550, might only sell for like 520. It's a much bigger swing because there's not as much demand for the laptops as there are phones. So you got to account for that too. Okay. That's pretty much it as far as that. All right. So, any questions that you guys have? Anything that you guys want to ask while we're on here?
Hey Dave, when they mentioned earlier that if somebody had like a lost and found from like a department or something, is that good to, assuming there's not iCloud locked, is that something you can buy from?
If it's what is it?
You said someone mentioned earlier about how if someone calls you like and they have like, let's say a shop or whatever, and with the lost and found electronics, and after a certain amount of time, obviously they don't claim them.
Yeah, if it's like a business and they're saying that, that's okay. I mean, if they got like a legitimate storefront and stuff, you can see that, and you're going to get an ID, then yeah, you should be okay.
But not for like individual people though?
I'd be weary, but if you're getting an ID from them, that's fine. If they start coming up with like massive amounts of phones to you or something, and that's the story, then that might be, that might be. Right.
Yeah, no, because I'm just thinking they probably would just not put in that effort and just tell you that too.
If it sounds okay to you and you feel your gut feels comfortable, then usually it's okay. If your gut tells you like, oh man, I don't buy anything this guy's saying, then that's usually true too. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Just make sure you're getting a driver's license. I mean, your gut really knows the answer usually on a lot of this stuff. And as long as you follow that, like usually you'll be safe with anything that comes up if anything does happen. Because most normal people wouldn't have realized that. And you did your due diligence. You got a bill of sale. You got the ID. You're protected. You should be okay. Frankie says, I got one. When you get a request for an unusual phone, LG or model stuff like that, you don't know how much it's kind of worth, and it turns out to be junk once you check. But you say you buy those. Do you make an offer or do you retract? So, Frankie, can you unmute yourself? Are you able to talk? So how to nicely turn someone down on something that's not worth a lot, basically, right?
Yeah, so like this was there's like a Moto S, it's some kind of Moto 5 phone. They sell for like 25, and I had no idea because I usually don't buy them. And I already said in the beginning, like, great, I usually buy those types of phones, I'll check as soon as I get home. well, it's now 2 hours later, and I don't know how to. Do I say like, hey, your phone's limited resale market, and it turns out I aren't able to take those. How would you phrase that, and then try to like upsell into something else? Because I have no idea how to let this person down easy without being a jerk about it.
So it's a great way is this. Look at it's called negative precipitation. I don't know how to say it, but there's negative and positive way to say it. So negative would be, I don't buy those, right? Very brash, abrupt. Even if it's hard to say that nicely, like I don't buy those. And then they'll start hitting you with, oh, well, this is false advertising. You say you buy everything, blah blah blah, and that's what happens, right? Anybody ever run out with that? Okay, but if you say it in a positive way, it overcomes it and also can help you lead more deals. For example, unfortunately, that the market doesn't have there's not enough resale value in the market for that particular phone. But I love to buy anything else that you have. You have any other electronics. So now we're reframing that from being a negative, I don't buy these, to unfortunately the market doesn't have enough resale value for that particular phone, but I'd love to buy stuff. Do you have anything else? I buy laptops, MacBooks, tablets. It's a great way to turn someone down in a positive way.
All right, and then if it's just nothing, it's just kind of it is what it is kind of thing. Like how do you end stuff on that? Because I don't think we ever actually discussed like they don't have anything. How do you like politely bow out in that situation?
So Larry says, I typically say, I hate to insult you with such a low offer. Do you have anything else by chance? That's better than just saying, I don't buy those. But the only thing about that is by saying, I hate to insult you with a low offer, it opens the door kind of for arguments. They could say, well, no, I want to hear your low offer. Anybody ever done that? And then you give them the low offer and they still get mad at you. And you're like, wait, you just said you didn't mind the low offer and now you're getting mad at me, right? So that's like some experience that Larry says sometimes laugh out loud. Yeah, that's what I've experienced in the past too. And they say, oh yeah, no, go ahead, give me the low offer. And then you give it to them, they get pissed off, right? So I like to, by doing it the original way that I just told Frankie, by saying, unfortunately the market doesn't justify, there's not enough resale value for that, but I'd love to buy, anything else that you have. I also buy laptops, MacBooks. It's firmly saying to the person that I have no interest in that thing whatsoever, in a very nice way. And in a way to show them that, like, I want to do some business with you. I am motivated. I want to do something with you. I just, the market's not allowing me. It's kind of like, it's like when the kid asked the mom, can I have a cookie? I'd love to give you a cookie, but your dad said I'm not allowed to give you any cookies. Now the kid can't get mad at the mom. Right? So you're blaming the market by saying, I'd love to do this for you. Unfortunately, the market doesn't justify the resale value, but I buy laptops, tablets, and I'd love to put some cash in your pocket today. What else do you have? Does that help you, Frankie? Is that a response? Any other questions? Does that clear it up pretty good, or do you have any other concerns on that?
No, I'm good. I guess the only other one would just be like if they say after that, like, oh no, I got nothing, that's all I got. Is there do you just ignore after that and kind of move on, or is there like a bow out after that? Hey, great, if you have anything else down the road, love to do business kind of thing?
Well, I personally look at every person as not as a customer. I look at them as lifetime value, right? I look at every single person as a potential for other customers. So, for example, this person might never do business with me. But what if they really like me as a business person and they tell somebody else about me, right? So, or what if they don't have anything at this time, but when they do, they will. So I call this the butterfly effect. Have you ever watched that video on the butterfly effect? Right? It's one little small action can create a giant ripple or a tsunami in other areas. So I'll tell you a story. One time my wife and I were on a vacation in Baltimore, and we were in a place called Little Italy. They have these really fine Italian dining restaurants. It's really nice. We were kind of out. My mother was watching my daughter. So it was like a date night. And it was late and it was freezing cold. And this lady opened the door, and it was a nice place, had really good reviews. And the lady says, unfortunately, we're closing up in 5 minutes, so we won't be able to get you. She said, but you know what? Why don't you do this? There's a place right down the street. They've got amazing food. What are you guys looking for? She literally spent 10 minutes sitting there talking to us, asking us questions, what kind of food we were looking for. She said, okay, if you like good red wine and you want this, there's a place right down the street. It's got great reviews. They're open till 11 o'clock at night. You'll still be able to eat. And we were so happy. I couldn't tell. And she said, my name is so-and-so. I'm the owner of this restaurant. I actually talked about that restaurant on social media. And then 2 years later, I went back to that restaurant, right? So now, I mean, that's 2 years, but a lot of people can come back to you. This happens a lot within a month, 2 months, and that's how you build a very repeat, stable business for yourself by doing little things like that. By just saying something like, hey, thank you very much for reaching out. Sorry we couldn't do anything, but I'd love to do business in the future. If you ever have anything, don't hesitate to call me. And feel free to tell anybody we're always buying electronics. Maybe get a referral out of them. Yeah. Chris said, didn't she walk out in the cold with you? Yes, she did. Yep. It was freezing cold too. It was like ice on the ground. And she wasn't even wearing a jacket. She came out, talked to us, and she was an older lady too, like 60 years old. It was really, really impressed with the amount of customer service. And I figured if she cared that much to do that for us, this place has got to be good. Okay, you guys heard that story, some of you guys before. I think that's in the butterfly effect video in the course. Okay, anybody else have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
This is actually, last week I almost got scammed by 2 different people on eBay about the shipping. Basically, like the item that I sold went to their place, and then they didn't accept it, and they forwarded the address to a different place. One of the guys actually ended up getting the money from my account, and he still had my phone. And when I found out, I called eBay and I told them they tracked it, because I do my shipping through eBay and they had the tracking, so they could track it. They gave me my money back right away. But what else do you do to protect yourself? Like,
you were protected, like, right? So you got your money back in that situation. As long as you're shipping to an address that is registered on eBay, then you're safe. They'll always give you your money back in that situation.
Yeah, one of those people, she wanted, when she ordered it, it was an Apple Watch Series 4. It was going to Vegas with her address that was on eBay, but she wanted to ship it to New Jersey, and she sent me a message, and I told her I wouldn't do it.
No, never.
And then she responded to it, so I sent it to the address that was on file, and then she ended up forwarding it to New Jersey somehow.
So if you ever have that, eBay will always side in your favor with those. And if they leave you negative feedback, you can get that feedback removed. Just call eBay.
Okay.
You're never obligated to ship, never, ever, ever ship to an address that's not registered on eBay, because that's how they'll get you with something. Yeah. Always only stick to that. It's called the eBay seller protection policy. So as long as you stick to that, you're always covered by eBay. You just have to call them if it happens, but you'll be protected.
Do you also do like signature confirmation to get a signature on every item, or do you not do that at all?
No. If it's over 700, yes. It has. If it's over 700, they require a signature a signature confirmation to protect you to get the seller protection. But if it's under 700, I believe it's 700. It's either 450 or 700. You can just see the rules on eBay. But as long as it's under that, we don't get that. And usually when you go to ship, it'll automatically check off that little mark on it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. If because they want to make sure you get the seller protection, so they'll automatically check it off. And as long as you stick to the rules, another thing too is as long as you stick to those rules, like sometimes once in a while we'll get someone file a chargeback on PayPal, right, for an item saying, somebody else bought this item without my acknowledgement or whatever. We win those cases 100% of the time. You'll never lose that case because it's right in writing with PayPal and eBay. As long as you ship to the file on address, you are 100% covered against unauthorized transactions. So they'll give you your money back, and PayPal, eBay have to eat that. Yeah. Okay. So just, to give you guys a little confidence in case that does happen. Frankie says, one just bought a laptop this morning, shipping it out tomorrow morning. Any extra precautions or things to cover me? What are you worried about with the laptop, Frankie? Like, what are some things that you might be worried about? You just asking how to ship it better?
I get usually the medium flat rate boxes that you kind of showed in your video for laptops, which I think up to like 13.3 it fits, or 15 inches. Just like if there's any extra stuff I should do working with zero feedback people, not necessarily like shipping it, but just anything to be careful of.
People are worried about zero feedback. I never will even think about the zero feedback thing. That doesn't even cross my mind. To be honest, zero feedback, I feel better than the regular feedback actually, because a lot of people, they're new and they'll make an eBay account just because they found your item. Like eBay actually puts a lot of their stuff on search results on Google and things like that. So a lot of people will go on eBay and they'll be like, oh, I really want this. They'll create an eBay account just to buy your item. those are perfectly okay. Those aren't scammers. Those are legit buyers. And that happens all the time. We get tons of those. And we very rarely get cases with those type of people. So I'm 100% okay with selling to someone with zero feedback. I have no issues with that. And it doesn't concern me any bit. You can't really tell if you're going to have a problem with someone. You don't really know until it happens. And it has nothing to do with how much feedback they have. We've had problems with people that had like 3,000 feedback, and they were one of the worst people we ever dealt with. So you can't really judge by somebody's account. So you never want to look at that. Always just stick to the rules, though. Just always make sure you ship to the address on file. That's the important thing. Any other questions? Cool. Thanks, Nick. Glad to have you on our first group chat here. Keep digesting the course, and hope to see you as one of our next top guns, too.
I'm going for it. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, I guess we could probably wrap it up soon. We've been on for a little bit. Any other things that you guys want to go over? Okay, cool. Well, all right, guys. I guess that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week then if nobody has any other questions. And good luck. Keep up the good work. You guys are doing a great job.